Impact frames. What are they? Google defines impact frames as one or more frames at the moment of an animated strike or explosion. My definition, however, is cool flashy frames that make your animation or stop motion 10 times better. Today, I'm going to show you how I make impact frames like these into my stop motions. More specifically, my most recent stop motion of Goku vs. Gohan. First thing I want to go over is where exactly the impact frames are. As you can see, they're right as the punch lands, but before Goku goes flying. These are what the impact frames are for, to show the impact of the punch. Now, when I'm making impact frames, at least for stop motion, I like to use the onion skin tool. It's the little slider on the left with the one above it. And that lets you see the frames before, and it doesn't even have to be just the one frame. You can go back about 2, sometimes 5. But when I'm making my impact frames, I like to use the last frame as kind of like the basis for it, because if it's a punch, I want that punch to be shown in the impact frame. Now, when I'm making these, I like to have the actual site of the impact a thicker line. I keep it on about 10 if you're using Stop Motion Studio. I keep it on line 10 for the actual side of the impact, and the rest of the details for the impact frame of like outlining the characters, or even just like little like effects, like little squiggles. Sometimes I make those thicker, but sometimes I make those thinner as well. Now, since this shot has the black and white frames, I'm actually not going to outline the whole character like I do with some other impact frames I make in past stop motions, because in those ones it's only one singular frame. But this one, since it's a combination of black and white, I'm only going to outline maybe about half of the characters each, and for this black frame, and then for the white frame I'm going to go over what I didn't highlight or outline, and when the impact happens, you'll kind of see both sides, and it'll come out really good. You'll see that coming up. So now that I finished the first frame, I'm going on to the second frame, or the white one. And as you'll see, I'm still keeping the point of impact at a thicker pen, but you'll also notice that I'm trying to extend it out more, the actual impact. And the reason for that being is this is the second impact frame of 2. And along with this, in the next frame, Goku is going to go flying. So if you just have like a little line at the edge of your fist, that's okay if you want that. But for me, I wanted to put more emphasis on like how much damage that hit from Gohan actually did. So the first frame was just the impact. This one's kind of more of the force, and that's why you can see more lines expanding outward. And you'll also see with this that I am still keeping a thinner line for going over the rest of the details on the characters, but you'll see me go back and forth about the 2 frames, because I'm trying to see what I didn't highlight the first time, so that I can go over with it in the second frame, so that way the 2 frames complete each other. But you also see that I'm still going over some parts, and that's just because some of those parts are necessary so you can tell which character's who. Because, for example, their hair, these 2 characters' hairs are like standout points for recognizing these characters. So it would make sense to have the hair kind of highlighted the whole time, but you'll notice that in the second frame I'm putting more detail on it, so it's not the same as the first frame, but I'm also connecting it more instead of keeping it just, oh, I'm only gonna highlight the corners. I'm actually connecting the hair this time. So now that the frames are done, we can see how the frames are used in the actual stop motion, and how they put more emphasis on the punch, and also how they just make it look cooler, you know? Now this frame here is the last impact frame that you'll see in my latest video. Now this isn't something I made by myself, this is actually a mock-up of an impact frame actually used from the original anime, in this scene specifically when Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2 for the first time. Here's the clip so you can see. Now if you missed the actual impact frame, you can go back in the clip that I just showed and watch it in 0.25 speed so you can see it yourself, or you can just watch this and you'll see me flip back and forth between the screenshot I took of the actual impact frame. Another thing you'll notice is I already got a decent amount of the hair done. So when I was making this, I kind of forgot to start screen recording from the start, so that's my bad. But one thing I wanted to talk about is in the impact frame from the original Dragon Ball Z clip, it's only half of Gohan's body because the light is coming from behind him. So with this, I still wanted to put more emphasis towards the back side of Gohan, and you'll see that by having the thicker lines in the hair more towards the back, but I still wanted to highlight all of Gohan's body because he's not in the actual center of the frame, he's more towards the left. So I thought, you know, if I highlight all of Gohan in a way, not all of him, but if I kind of make him more connected, it'll look better. And you know what? I think it actually did come out looking better than just if I were to highlight his backside. So enjoy watching the rest of how I make this. Yeah, subscribe please. Now the second part of this impact frame is actually the beginning of a second effect. If you see the Dragon Ball Z clip of Gohan turning Super Saiyan 2, you notice how there's this little red line that comes behind him. Now in the show, when that red line comes behind him, it expands outward and it makes like this red glowing lava type look. Now I'm not going to make all that because one, I'm not trying to copy this like shot for shot, but two, that was a lot of work and I didn't think it would look that cool. So what I wanted to do was I kind of wanted to make a lightning effect kind of go through and then just disappear. And so yeah, that's what you'll see me make. Disclaimer though, I did end the screen recording early, so I'm gonna add the clip of it when it's finished because you won't see that right now, but you'll see that one. Yeah, like this, you'll see me do the one line and then that's it, but I'll put the whole thing right now. Bonus effect time. So with this last effect, I'm going to teach you how to make the instant transmission and kind of like the teleporting around the battlefield effect. And it's actually pretty easy. So what you want to do first is you want to find a frame that you want your character to appear in. And you're going to take a picture of this frame twice. The first one with the character in it, and then the second one with the character not in it. Like you're going to mask it, but you're not going to mask it. You're just going to draw the character. So as you'll see here, I have Goku getting ready to kick Gohan, and he's going to teleport in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color over with characters with colors similar to what the character actually has. And I'm going to go ahead and color over everything that this character has. So we're basically just like drawing a picture, right? Like a coloring page. And then you're going to want to go through and you're just going to want to erase everything. You're going to want to use a thin line. I think I used around line 5, and you're just going to go and zigzag up and down erase, so that way he has, it looks like he's made out of little lines like how Goku does when he uses instant transmission. And boom, you got your teleporting / instant transmission effect. You're welcome.